Honorable members, let us pray. Almighty God, we humbly beseech Thee to look with favor upon this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in Thy sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic. Endow members of Parliament and ministers of state with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of government, this land and people may be well and truly served, and their good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us a vision of our country, fair as it might be, a country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, a country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service, and honor shall be given to the deserving, a country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people and the love for the common good. Bless the efforts of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people, that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. Honorable members, I apologize on behalf of the House for not starting today's proceedings early. There's been a lot of pressure on the House. As you all know, it's budget season. And there was a communication to us that the Minister for Finance will be meeting leadership this morning. We were also honored with the visit of the Vice President of the People's Republic of Cuba, and I have to receive him with your leadership, and it also took some time. This explains the delay. In fact, the leadership meeting with the Minister of Finance could not come on. It's now scheduled for 12:30, so we'll be taking a few quick items, and then we'll break up, suspend sitting. Then the leadership will meet the Minister for Finance, and then after that, around 2:30, we'll resume sitting in this House. This is information to guide how you organize your business for the day. With this, I want to inform you that the President has not sent any message to me, and we'll move straight away to item 4. Item 4. Correction of votes and proceedings and official report. We'll start with the votes and proceedings of Monday, 13th November 2023. Page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, page 7. Yes, Honorable Member. Oh. Page 8. Page 9. Yes, the Honorable Member for Kwadaso.
Item 5, line 3, venue for this year's post-budget workshop at Rock City. And Rock City is not hyphenated. At Rock City, not as Rock City. Thank you.
Sorry?
Honorable Speaker, I have no objection to the Rock City being not hyphenated, but as used in the business statement, is correct. Because what we are being told is, in sections of the media relating to the named venue for this year's post-budget workshop as Rock City. So Rock as is correct, not at. But we can change the Rock City from being hyphenated, but as is correct as used in context.
Yes, honorable member for Kwadaso. I think the honorable member for Prampram is right.
I don't have any issue with that, but I was looking at the construction of the sentence.
Yes, thank you so
Right,
much.
Honorable Speaker, in a formal communication to the House, due attention to comments in sections of the media relating to the name venue for this year's post-budget workshop at Rock City, but he's saying as Rock City.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. The as is correct.
Thank you.
Yes. But your correction of the Rock City is also right. It shouldn't be hyphenated. Yes, honorable members, page 10, page 11, page 12, page 13, page 13. Yes, honorable member for Kwadaso.
Honorable Speaker, on page 11.
Page 11.
Yes, please. Question number 1743, the third line, water extension projects. The T should be changed to S. Extension. EXTENSION, not TION. Thank you.
Yes, honorable member, thanks so much. Table office kindly take note. So we go back to page 13. Page 14. Page 15. Page 16. Page 17. Yes, honorable member for Adentan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, page 17, item 12, adjournment. It reads, and it being 22 minutes after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the House adjourned till Wednesday next at 10 o'clock. It's supposed to be Tuesday. I think there's a template, so.
Yes, honorable member, you are correct. So table office kindly make the necessary correction. Yes.
Most grateful, Mr. Speaker. This is to seek guidance from you. On page 13, item B, with your permission, I read. In fact, let me begin from the top. Item A, second paragraph. Honorable First Deputy Speaker, refer the statement to the Committee of Works and Housing for consideration and report. B, by the Honorable Minister responsible for Parliamentary Affairs, Mr. Osechi Mensah Bonsu, on behalf of the Honorable Minister responsible for Communication and Digitalization. Mr. Speaker, when you go down on the same page, before item C, it again reads, Honorable First Deputy Speaker, refer the statements to the Committee on Communication for consideration and report. And here is where I seek your clarification. C, by the responsible for Parliamentary Affairs, Mr. Osechi Mensah Bonsu, on behalf of the Honorable Minister responsible for Lands and Natural Resources. As the leader of the House, is it appropriate to refer to him within this context by his title as the minister?
Honorable Member for Bolsa South, the Honorable Member for Swami is also the leader of the majority group in Parliament, and then also the Minister for Parliamentary Affairs. And because he leads the majority group, he is referred to as the majority leader. In performing this function, he decided to wear the hat of the Minister for Parliamentary Affairs. Luckily, the Minister for Parliamentary Affairs sits in Cabinet. And so he would have had information on almost all the issues that come before Cabinet, and therefore he has the capacity, the knowledge and the competence to represent his colleagues on the floor. And that is why he's accorded the opportunity to always present these papers for and on behalf of the ministers when they are not available. Because of the system we run, deputy ministers are actually not deputy ministers of sectors, are not ministers of state. If you read our constitution well, the sector deputy ministers are not ministers of state. It's only the deputy ministers at the regions who are defined by our constitution as ministers of state. And so those sector deputy ministers cannot properly represent their ministers on the floor. It's only because of the largesse of the House that we allow them to transact businesses for and on behalf of their ministers. They are at the sectors to assist the ministers. That is all what they are there to do. The minister can decide that I don't need your assistance. And many of them will attest to the fact that they are just warming shares at the ministries. Because the ministers don't need their assistance, so they don't ask for them to assist them. So that is the structure and the concept we are operating in Ghana. If there is a need for us to reform it, to review it, it's left to us in the constitutional reforms. Thank you so much. Yes, please.
Yes, I duly express my gratitude for this elucidation.
Thank you so much. So, honorable members, the votes and proceedings of the 9th sitting held on Monday, 13 November 2023, as corrected, are adopted as the true records of proceedings. I have a copy of one official report, and that is the official report dated Thursday to the 7th July 2023. Any corrections? Honorable members, in the absence of any corrections, the official report of Thursday, 27th July 2023 is hereby adopted as a true record of proceedings. We will have to recognize the presence of some visitors, particularly at the public gallery. We are this morning privileged to have with us a large number of students from various institutions which have come to see what we do here. They are coming from about 6 institutions. I start with a mention of the students from Hemang Senior High School, led by one Mr. Senna Basin. Hemang Senior High School are coming from Hemang Lower Dentura constituency. Please, may you stand to be recognized. Yes. Where is the leader? Senna? Yes, Senna. We are grateful that you managed to organize together with your headmaster to bring the students to see what happens here. It's good to catch them young. And I hope that you learn a lot, not from the floor, but our technical staff will take you through the rudiments of parliamentary practice. You are most warmly welcome. We are also privileged to have students from Methodist Basic School. Please resume your seats. Methodist Basic School, led by Mr. Ernest Antwi. Methodist Basic School. Yes, that's a large number here. You are also most warmly welcome, and I'm sure you also learn like your seniors who just were recognized. Please, they are also coming from Hemang Lower Dentura constituency. Please, you are welcome. Kindly resume your seats. We are having also Canaan Preparatory School. Canaan Preparatory School, led by one Nathaniel Apiedu. Yes, they are also to the left, and they are also coming from Hemang Lower Dentura constituency. Canaan Preparatory School, my senior cousin's name is Canaan, so I take it that that is our preparatory school. You are most welcome. Please resume your seat, Canaan. We have Nana Obin Aso Girls, led by Mrs. Juliet Yaira Eduse. Yes, madam. Well done. Welcome with your students. I see you have distributed them around. You are most welcome. Also try to take advantage of the day and learn as much as you could. Please resume your seats. We have GAEC School, that's Ghana Atomic Energy. Yes. They are led by Mr. Justice Nani Bazi. Oh, thank you. You are most welcome. Please, you may resume your seats. They are coming from Dome Kwabinya constituency. And then, the last but not the least, Future Jewels. Future Jewels School. They are the jewels of our future. Yes, we have about 5 of them here, led by Mr. Michael Michoiki. Michoiki. The name is like from South Africa. But you are Ghanaian, right? They are coming from Ga West constituency. On behalf of the members of Parliament and Parliament as an institution, I warmly welcome all of you to today's proceedings. You are welcome. Honorable members, we go to item 5, statements. Yes, Majority Chief Whip.
Speaker, as was discussed and agreed, we will vary order of business and rather take item 6. And then item 6 and also go on to take just one public business, item 8, after which, so as you directed, we will then recline to have the engagement, as was announced, with the Minister of Finance. So we will start off with item 6, Minister for Health, and the statement that stands in the name of the Honourable Member for Angra, eulogizing the former First Lady, as Speaker you've admitted. So we start off from item 6. No.
I have two statements. So after the Minister for Health, I'll allow 2 members of Parliament to make the statements, then invite the House for comments. So we'll start with the Minister for Health.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I was invited to brief the House on the demolition of the Lajin House and the status of the efforts to rebuild Lajin House.
Honourable members, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, the construction of the Lajin Hospital has been in the news for all the right reasons. And as a ministry tasked with the provision of health infrastructure and services, I hereby wish to apprise the House on events leading to the demolition, the stalling of the commencement of work, and measures that government has taken to recommence the project. Mr. Speaker, as you may recall, the facility was demolished in the year 2020 to make way for the construction of a new 160-bed facility for the people of La and its environs. The decision to rebuild was hinged on the congestion experienced by clients to the hospital, the need to expand the services provided, and above all, the poor structural integrity of the building. You may refer to a City News item aired sometime in the year 2019, which aptly describes the state of the facility and also captured the sentiments of patients and staff working in the hospital. Mr. Speaker, with the indulgence, I want us to show just a little short video on the state of the facility in 2019.
Yeah, so we couldn't work. It went inside the consulting rooms, so we couldn't work.
Expectant mothers who were at the hospital on that day say the unexpected flooding was traumatizing. 20-year-old Fauzia is one of them.
So I am a consumer emerging so I'm talking to the petite habaya attache by soon I talk as you never been to us motivate me for the so no. In fact, sometimes who inside when no one ever been to so that crown bobo now so and I say crown a brown to form and so do bobo was so in original so and so my boy.
The situation has put the minds of staff on the edge for years now. As the peak of the rainy season draws closer, more of the workers have questioned the stability of the building which houses the antenatal care unit itself.
The building looks like the whole structure is falling apart. Anytime when you enter into that building, you would have to think twice, you would have to look around because you think your safety is at stake. And many times we come in here literally scared. Because day in, day out, you have portions of the building falling apart. You enter into offices and the whole structure is falling apart. And so we definitely need to look at doing something about the building.
Built over 5 decades ago, the facility can now barely contain the large numbers it is meant to cater for on a daily basis. Well, so this is one of the main corridors of the ANC unit here at this hospital, and because of space challenges, it now doubles as a waiting area for the hundreds of pregnant women that come here each day.
As for the structure, it's not good. Like the space is not big enough to contain all the people. Sometimes when we come, the place is cloudy. You don't even have a place to stand. You come and go. Like before you get to the house, you are almost stressed. So the stress is too much. So if the government could do something about it for us.
Same goes for the midwives at the facility, who say they feel discouraged every time they are reporting to work.
In fact, I don't feel good when, especially when it's going to rain. When I see that the weather has changed and I'm coming to work, I don't feel like coming, because you don't know what will happen to you here. And looking at our building here, look at the cracks at the building. In fact, should something happen now, you feel insecure working here. So we are pleading for the government to do something about it.
When this structure is pulled down, or the whole hospital will be pulled down, right? When it is pulled down, I want it to look nice, maybe nicer than rich. Because those rich people, you can see them, they are comfortable, they are walking up and down. But when you go out, you walk in the mud. But at that place, you walk on the on the floor, well, tire and all this. You walk throughout, and then you go to do your work and come.
The hospital's management admits that the facility is in distress. Over the years, there hasn't been any major facelift to its infrastructure. The Deputy Chief Administrator at the General Hospital, Hajia Rukia Fuseni, revealed that government has earmarked some of the hospital's buildings for demolition and reconstruction. She, however, wishes that this happens sooner than later.
Most of the properties, it damaged the property, and it's very risky because some of the staff, if you are not careful, it can affect them in a certain way. You know what I'm talking about. All of a sudden you are there and water just ran into you. You'll be scared because water is so strong that it can easily carry the human beings, both the human beings and the property away. And it also damages the structure. The long-term measure is that we are hoping the building should be pulled down for redevelopment, because the building is too old. It's over 50 years. It's over 50 years. So if it is pulled down and new structure is put up, I think it will solve all this flooding issue.
Until some light shines on this facility, the lives of the several hundreds of people, together with the staff of the General Hospital, will be at risk, especially after a heavy downpour. Reporting for City News, my name is Ni Ama.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when the new administration took office in 2017, the situation of the hospital was one of the very critical issues brought to my attention as a minister. Understanding the nature of the problem, which mainly revolved around the serious dilapidation of the hospital, the ministry went to all lengths to get the people of a new facility. Mr. Speaker, I had occasion to visit the hospital in the state, as I have shown to my colleagues. And it became a priority project for us. So we were making sure that we get a very good facility for General Hospital. Much as the project has not kicked off in earnest, the ministry would like to assure you that the situation is under control and work will soon recommence. By way of understanding the nature of the issues and what has been done to date, especially events leading to the demolition, I hereby present a chronology of the events for your appreciation of the efforts made so far. Mr. Speaker, there were several letters coming from the Regional Directorate of Ghana Health Services through the Director General to the Ministry, And so there was like pressure on us to do something very, very, very quickly. Mr. Speaker, the ministry, in our searching for funding to do the work, got some proposal from a company, Polychanga Overseas from China, to redevelop the General Hospital and seeks the statutory approvals to commence work. That was as early as March 2019. Mr. Speaker, we got a cabinet approval in March that same year. Parliament generously approved on 31st March 2020 to borrow to do the work. We went through Public Procurement Authority approvals, submission proposal for value for money was done, and we accepted structural integrity tests and commissioned stakeholder engagement to sensitize even the lab community on the need to demolish the building and rebuild. Mr. Speaker, thereafter, we signed the final contract after fulfilling all conditions precedent, and that was in July 2020. Mr. Speaker, demolition of the structures to make way for a new facility was started on the 17th of July and completed 31st of July 2020. Then we did a short cutting. Mr. Speaker, let me, as a matter of interest, announce to my colleagues that the contractor who was supposed to do the project is the person who actually pulled down the facility. We had handed over site. He needed to clear the place to start new work, and there was no way that we can do that hospital on that same land without pulling down the facility. And that is how come the project was pulled down. Commencement of preliminary works in technical studies, soil tests and site set up for offices started on the 1st of September 2020. Mr. Speaker, the project, however, was suspended due to issues with the insurance cover from Sandwich. We faced challenges with relations with Sandwich, and then Sandwich suspended their efforts to issue insurance for the cover of the facility that we were taking in completion. We completed value for money audit following the issuance of the insurance cover by Sandwich, and that was done as late as 2022. So between 2020, when we have handed over site to the contractor to start work, the insurance issues delayed the project for nearly 2 years. Thereafter, submission of advance payment requests with accompanying bonds was done late April 2022 for work to actually commence. The contractors submitted request for advance payment with the bonds, and following the submission of the advance payment request to the Minister of Finance to be paid by Stanchart, the lead arranger, it came to light that Credit Suisse, one of the syndicated banks, had gone under liquidation and could no longer be a party of the financing team. Mr. Speaker, this is what significantly has delayed the project up till today. This compelled Stanchart to find a replacement, but the process could not be completed before the government's debt restructuring process also started. As you may recall, the debt restructuring has led to a suspension on all externally funded projects covered by loans. And that is the situation we are in. Mr. Speaker, I must comment that apart from the General Hospital, we've never seen this type of hiccups up and down in managing any project in the health sector since I became Minister for Health. So we have had serious challenges with General Hospital. Mr. Speaker, despite challenges imposed on the government by the debt restructuring, it is not resting on its oars. The President of the Republic, in particular, has taken a keen interest in the particular project, following which the underlisted steps have been taken. Mr. Speaker, at the 37th session of Cabinet, the President directed the Ministers of Trade and Industry, Health and Finance to find alternative sources of funding to recommence the project. Through the efforts of the three-man committee, the Minister for Finance has now identified funds locally to continue the project with the same civil works scope but a reduced price of 50 million euro. The contractors have resubmitted the advance mobilization guarantee to the Ministry of Health, which has been processed to the Ministry of Finance for payment. The project consultants and the Ministry's technical team have met with the contractors to draw up a roadmap for the continuation of the project once the funds are received. The contractor indicates that once the funds hit the account, they will remobilize to site within 1 week. Mr. Speaker, so unfortunately I couldn't get some of these and shown on the video, but there are materials on site worth over $8 million that the contractor has put there to recommence work with. They were mobilizing, they actually mobilized, they were on site when suspension happened. Now we have all these materials there, there are very few skeleton staff on the site, and now that they are going to get back to site, we believe the project will move very quickly. At this point, Mr. Speaker, all parties to the contract have shown a very clear willingness and commitment to work, and we trust that this project will be carried out in earnest and completed within the 24-month duration as originally stated. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for your indulgence.
Honorable members, you heard the Minister. I have been guided by leadership, and I'm informed the majority side has nothing to say on this matter. So we are going to have from the minority Honorable members, I've just been informed that they said they will not submit a list, but they will be standing up randomly for me to recognize them to contribute. Actually, you know that is not the practice. Well, we want to know from each side the number so that you can share the time. Because of time limitation, the standing orders are clear on this. So that is why we usually request that you guide us with the names. And so I have 4 from this side. Maybe if I got a number from your side and I saw the numbers were this, we could just judge and reduce or look at the time allocation. But now, when you say you stand up randomly, you create more challenges for the House. Anyway, it's too late in the day, so we'll try and manage things. We'll start with the Member of Parliament of the constituency, Honorable now Odole Soa.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to comment on the Minister for Health information to the House. Right Honorable Speaker, we the good people of Dadekotopon were aware, and the Ministry of Health made us aware, that the main building of the old La General Hospital had structural defects, and they were going to pull it down to make way for a new project.
Yes, just a minute. Yes, Majority Chief, Whip, any point of order?
No, Speaker, just to draw your attention, your earlier communication in terms of the meeting we are planning to hold, and you had given 1 o'clock. I look at the watch, and it's getting closer to 1. Speaker, without any disrespect to my colleague, and I know the subject matter is very important to us, so just to humbly suggest, if it pleases you, Speaker, probably allocate time so that we don't shortchange when we complete the contribution to this very important statement, and then we can suspend sitting and go and meet the minister as you, Speaker, announced, because already we're having 3 on each side 4 on each side, and we should be guided, Speaker, with respect, in terms of the time. Just reminding you and drawing your attention to the earlier communication. Speaker, with respect.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I get a point my colleague is making, but knowing the other meeting he's talking about, this is a very, very, very important to us discussion. In fact, details of this can help guide the other meeting we are going. So I'll plead with him that he should give ample time for us to have this discussion, to give us enough information to go into the next meeting he's talking about. So we'll get there. Even if we are late for that meeting, with better information, it's better than rushing to that meeting without having enough information. Yeah.
Speaker, with respect, we are saying the same thing. I mean, basically the same thing. That I'm only guiding and drawing the Speaker's attention so that we regulate the time a bit. The subject matter is important, and we are speaking the same thing. Because we are not at loggerheads on this matter. It's a total agreement, just that we should have some guidance in terms of the time allocation. That's all.
Honorable members, do not worry. The necessary arrangements have been put in place. And so I have people standing by to see when the Minister of Finance will arrive, and definitely we will not immediately jump to the meeting because he has arrived. We have to do our work. And so don't worry, this one is under control. Yes, Honorable Member Rita, you may continue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I was saying, the Ministry of Health, led by the Honorable Minister for Health, visited the chiefs and people of Dadekotopon and informed us of the need to pull down the old La General Hospital and assured us that in 2 years the hospital will be rebuilt. Mr. Speaker, the hospital was pulled down in March 2020 and door was cut in August 2020 to make way for the new hospital they promised us. The sword was cut amidst pomp and pageantry, and we were so sure that the hospital would be reconstructed for the good people of Dadekotopon. I came to Parliament in January 2021. On the 1st of June 2021, I brought a question to the floor of Parliament, and the Honourable Minister answered and said the insurance cover was not ready, so the contractor couldn't move to site, and that they were making plans for the contractor to move to site. And as we speak now, in June 2022, he also came back to the floor of Parliament seeking for tax exemption for equipment to be procured for the project. Right, Honourable Speaker, as we speak now, the good people of Dadekotopon, we have written to the ministry, we have had demonstrations, we've had press conferences, all to no avail. And right, Honourable Speaker, it's too late in the day for us, the good people of Dadekotopon, for the minister to come and show us a video in Parliament, something that we were aware of, something that they told us of, and promised us that because of the dilapidated nature of the project, we are pulling it down to make way for a new project. But as we speak, from 2020 August, that sword was cut. We are in November 2023, and nothing has been done to the project. The Minister for Trade had a press conference at which he said last week, 8 p.m. there was a contractor on site. I visit the site every day and there has not been any contractor there. As at yesterday, 5:25 p.m. I was at the site and there is no contractor there. And so now that the minister is assuring us that the project is going to take off, and Mr. Speaker, the initial contract sum for the project was 68 million euro, and now they have scaled it down to 50 million euro. So does it mean that the drawings they show to the good people of Dadekotopon, they are going to bring the drawings to another level, and then the other Right, Honorable Speaker, the majority leader also, when I did my statement, he also said because of the IMF, they couldn't contract the loan for the project. Mr. Speaker, the lies have been too many, and as we speak now, I want the Honorable Minister for Health to tell the good people of Ghana and to tell the good people of Dade Kotopon as and when the project is actually going to start and what type of project are they going to put in place for the good people of Dade Kotopon, because from 68 million euro you have now come down to 50 million euro. Mr. Speaker, we the good people of Dade Kotopon, we need a health facility, and we want the facility that they promised the good people of Dade Kotopon to be built for us. And so we are calling on the House to support the good people of Dade Kotopon, that the 50 million euro that is now referring to, compared to the 68 million euro, what projects are they going to put up for the good people of Dade Kotopon? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, you want to contribute? Okay, you can submit your comments.
Mr. Speaker, I'm very much grateful for the opportunity to comment. Firstly, on what our health minister has said, and then secondly, on what the Member of Parliament for Dade Kotopon has said. In fact, let me commend the Minister of Health in the sense that up till today, I was not very clear why the building was put down. But today, it's been made very clear in my mind that, one, the structural integrity of the General Hospital was troubled. And I really think that that sets the record straight on the reason and the reasons behind why the building was brought down. Now, secondly, what has become so obvious is that the House admitted to that key thing that we needed to bring it down. And that is also a very powerful thing. Now, per the record, the Member of Parliament for Dade Kotopon received numerous calls by the citizenry about the state of affairs with La General. And that is a fact that cannot be disputed. Now, beyond that, what needs to be taken from today's discussion is that truly it was the right decision that was made to bring the building down. Now, beyond that, we have been told today that this issue is a front burner issue for the President and, for that matter, the Minister of Health. I am very happy that this is a front burner issue. Now, one key thing, and I'm happy you're listening to me. I am very happy you're listening to me. So one key thing is that we all ought to be happy that, can I finish talking? Honorable. One key thing is that no matter what the issues were, it has come back to bear that the loan agreement is being revisited, and two, construction will take off. And I think that this is the best Christmas gift to La. This will be our Christmas gift to La, in the sense that this big hospital, great hospital, which has touched many lives, is going to be reborn. And I think that we must be happy. We must be happy. Now, one key thing, without a doubt, I'm even more happy about the fact that this will be done within the space of about a year and a half. Yes, that was the initial contract arrangement for 12 months. And if we are revisiting, I can assure the La General staff members who were working there, and then the citizenry, that in the shortest time, we will have La General Hospital back. Now, by way of reiterating what the Minister of Health has said, Mr. Speaker, health has been and will continue to be a priority of the administration. And I also need to add that over the past several months, there has been supporting facilities taking off some of the burden. I know 37 has been supporting. I know police hospital has been supporting. I know the polyclinic close to the trade fair has been supporting. And I must also commend the fact that we have Ridge Hospital as well, which has also been absorbing some of the issues. Mr. Speaker, in fact, this has been a huge concern for me. I am a Greater Accra Member of Parliament. Some of our patients used to be referred to La General for maternal care. But fortunately, Amasaman now has, very good infrastructure because of the Agenda 111. Other places like the North is there. Ghana is doing better in terms of health infrastructure. And I know that with the Agenda 111, Greater Accra, even my constituency, has received one, which reduces the burden on the entire Greater Accra. So, in fact, Mr. Speaker, the key thing here, and this is a takeaway message, please, for the NDC, this is a takeaway message. One, it has become a front burner issue for the administration. Two, the loan arrangement has been revisited. Three, you will see the contractor working, and within a year and a half, La General Hospital will be functioning. Personally, I think as a member of the Health Committee, without a doubt, Minister of Health, this is wonderful news for me. Everywhere I've gone, I've been asked about La General. So you've given us very wonderful news, and I think the video should also trend. The video was powerful. It makes the case for why the building was brought down, without a doubt. So thank you, Minister of Health. And Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the fact that today I'll go home knowing key reasons why the building was brought down. Secondly, that I can tell my constituents in La and in my constituency Anyasotum that La General finally will see the... Oh, it's been done. It's been done within the space of a year and a half. So I'm very appreciative, and we have a wonderful administration that consistently has proven that health truly must come first, and health is important. And then in concluding, I think that whether we like it or not, there might be some variations in the cost because times have changed, and I hope that this August House will not make another argument about why there are variations. We expect that to happen. So thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this time granted to me to express my appreciation to the Ministry of Health and the President for bringing La General Hospital back to life. Thank you very much.
Yes, honorable members, it's now the turn of the ranking member on health, Honorable Akando.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I was so disappointed and I couldn't believe my ears hearing from the minister that the issue of La General Hospital has been in the news for good reasons. Did you say that? For good reasons, Mr. Speaker. After demolishing the facilities to rebuild for more than 3 years without any work done on the site, you are reporting to Parliament that this has been in the news for good reasons. Mr. Speaker, for your information, the videos we have seen today, it means that, Mr. Speaker, we have to demolish a lot of hospitals in this country. We have to demolish a lot of hospitals in this country. Mr. Speaker, go to Kofadochi and see. It has taken His Majesty to raise funds to innovation. Mr. Speaker, I am reliably informed that before the demolition, there were fairly new structures on the site. Some of them were funded by the US President when Obama visited in 2029. The imaging structure and the family planning structure. They were fairly new structures and they were functional. Mr. Speaker, they were saving lives. As I speak to you now, Mr. Speaker, the people who are depending on that facility, Mr. Speaker, are disillusioned. And I thought that the minister was coming to give us hope. Mr. Speaker, the statement by the minister gives no hope. In fact, he has actually said nothing. Mr. Speaker, by the actions and inactions of the government, it clearly means that they were not committed to the project. If you go to page 3 of his own statement, Mr. Speaker, item 18, the project was suspended due to issues with insurance cover from Sinosure. And Mr. Speaker, that was from September 2020 to October 2021, taking you almost a year to deal with issues of insurance. Almost a year. So, as we speak, I thought that the minister was coming to tell us that they have money, they paid mobilization, contractors are going to site. We were preparing to hear this positive news, only to come and tell us. Clearly, government is even uncertain about when the project is even going to start. And I don't know whether to believe the minister at this moment because of what he has told the people of this country in the past. Mr. Speaker, on the 11th of March 2022, the minority members on the health committee visited the site. And when the minister was reacting to our visit, he said that they had signed a redevelopment plan with the contractor as far back in 2022, somewhere in March. And now he's here telling us that they are even now looking for sources of funding. We don't even know when they will get that source of funding. We don't even know whether it's a loan. He has even not made it clear. And Mr. Speaker, we have to be scared. The minister tells us that now they have reduced the amount from 65 million euros to 50 million euros. And he goes ahead to tell us, oh, the scope will not change. When cost of items and prices of materials have gone up, inflation is at 13.1%. Inflation is skyrocketing. He is telling us that, oh, we change the scope, but we have reduced the amount. Who should believe this? Who should believe this, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, I think that the government must get serious with the people of Nigeria, with the people of land. The government must get serious. We don't know, we don't know what to believe again. Series of excuses have been given as far as Nigeria Hospital is concerned. We do not know. And as presented by the minister, Mr. Speaker, we don't know when the contractor is even going to site. So, Mr. Speaker, the minister must come clear. As far as this statement is concerned, there is no hope. And it doesn't change anything at all. It doesn't change anything. There are facilities, there are hospitals doing their renovations or even reconstructions. It has been demolished in phases. You demolish, you build, you demolish, then you build. So that at least the facility will continue to give health care to the people. You're going to demolish the whole thing. And as the last time we visited the site, they were planting okra, Mr. Speaker, okra on the site. How can you do this? How can you do this? Because you have the money to travel outside the country to get a better health care, you don't care about the people? The Speaker, this is highly unacceptable. I thank you for the opportunity.
Well, from the list I have, is a turn of the honorable member for Tamale South, Honorable Haruna Idrisu.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to comment on the very disappointing statement made by the Honorable Minister for Finance. Mr. Speaker, to stand on behalf of the people of La and their Member of Parliament Rita to dismiss the lame assurances from the Honorable Minister for Health that his statement fails to inspire hope it fails to inspire confidence in the people of La and the people of Ghana that government means well when it pledged and promised them a hospital. Mr. Speaker, it is only in Ghana that we don't quantify the harm and the hurt that the demolition of the hospital have caused the immediate environs of La. Infant mortality, aged persons who are gone because of their inability to access quality health care. That the minister must do. And Mr. Speaker, the Honourable Minister for Health, this is not to come and state problems and share with us a video of statement of problems. Yours is to share with this House a solution and a roadmap that gives assurance to the people of La that you mean well and that you cannot justify the action of demolishing a hospital for 3 good years. You owe them an apology and not a statement of. And Mr. Speaker, I'm now quoting from his text. I can't share the text with me. You said that the Honourable Minister of Finance have identified funds appropriate, unquote. Which funds? Is it going to be loan, as Hans argued? Mr. Speaker, the Financial Times published that since 2022, the government of Ghana is unable to service all its external debt. That means that, in your words again, all externally funded projects have suffered and will suffer until some agreement is reached with external donors. So when you say he has identified funds, is it from the consolidated fund or you are coming with a loan? If you are coming with a loan, should we expect 50 million euro or 68 million euro as was approved? So, Minister, come well. The people of La deserve better than what you have come to do. I know that the Honourable Milante and many of our colleagues in the Health Committee are demanding that, Mr. Speaker, fidelity to our word as public servants is important. You cannot, as minister, stand here and say that Minister for Finance, he has identified appropriate funds. Which funds? Which funds? And I quote, Mr. Speaker, through the efforts of the 3-man committee, the Minister of Finance has identified funds locally. Mr. Speaker, he knows what is appropriate. Come to this House for lawful appropriation. That this House will now appropriate for purpose of La Hospital, that we are dedicating these local funds identified for purpose of the completion. 2, Mr. Speaker, it will mean that the Minister and the Minister of Finance must come back to this House and rescind the loan agreement of 68 million euro. That is what we promised the people of La. And then the amount now coming down from 68 to 50 million. What can be your justification when project costs have gone up and you say you finished procurement? So, Mr. Speaker, the people of La expect nothing but an announcement. And again, Mr. Speaker, I'm paraphrasing him. In your words, work will commence soon, unquote. What does soon mean to the people of La? That work will commence soon. You've said nothing, practically nothing. What is the usefulness of the statement? You say work will commence on Friday and that contractor will be mobilized to site. Mr. Speaker, I don't want to challenge the Honourable Minister for Finance, but I know that you are suffering in silence yourself. This Agenda 111 project, you are suffering in silence. Agenda 111 project, you people should thank NDC, John Mahama and Setepe. You are financing it from the Ghana Infrastructure Fund, which was established in 2014 with dedicated funds of 2.5% VAT, subsequently amended to ABFA a certain percentage. That is what visionary leadership does. When it tells you that you can set up a fund for purpose that you can use the fund to as equity in this. So, Minister, you are lucky. Minister of Finance is here. We need firm assurances where you are getting money to finance La General Hospital. When work will commence, not your lame assurances that work will commence soon. Not your lame assurances. That is not adequate. If we are appropriating, let us appropriate for the purpose of La Hospital. So, Mr. Speaker, I can only conclude by empathizing with the people of La. They have been denied access to a dedicated health facility that provided quality medical care to the people of La. And that any lives lost attributed to irresponsibility on the part of people to which we have trusted the governance of the country. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, I'll take the last person, and then the Minister of Finance is in. We'll have to go and have the meeting with the Minister, and on our return, the statements will be admitted. Please, the last person to comment. Majority Chief Whip, yes.
Speaker, let me start off by commending this House for such a patriotic decision to have invited the Minister to appear and to apprise us of actions taken relative to the General Hospital. Now, I am not in agreement with colleagues who say that the Minister said nothing. This is not right. And I hear our senior member of the House, the former leader, making attributions to the Minister, saying that for him to show the video, it was empty. He said nothing. For me, for the Minister to show that video, depicts of honesty, and you must applaud him for that. If the Minister had not shown, the Minister had the right to have presented a statement, okay, and tell you what is happening there without the videos. But he went ahead showing pictorial sense. That is a mark of a good leader. That is a mark of an honest minister. And Honorable Hannah Disu, when you make reference to infrastructure fund, and you are commending former President John Mahama for the infrastructure fund, Agenda 111, what did you do with the infrastructure fund you so claim to have set up? What did you do with it? We dreamt of Agenda 111. You should rather applaud her for this. I'm not seeking to raise the temperature unnecessarily. But let's commend where commendation is due. You get up on your feet and run down a minister who has come to tell you the truth. Exactly. That cannot be honesty. So, Minister, you've done a good job by telling this House the truth. And our colleagues should take a cue. All of us should take a cue. It is better to tell the Ghanaian people what the truth is. Knowing the truth is getting to know 50% of the solution to the problem. That's the fact. And the truth shall stand. Now, I tell you, colleagues, next week by this time, the honorable member, I can see you nodding. I tell you on authority, next week by this time, you will come to this House and commend the government and commend the minister for a good job done. As for concerns about reduction in the value money earmark, the budget earmark for the project, it's neither here nor there. I know that some professional thinking has gone into this decision, so you don't need to worry. So the minister has come to this House to tell us that indeed he concedes to the fact that there is a problem, and he is making conscious effort to deal with it. The minister didn't tell us that when you see a ship, say that it's a goat. No, he didn't say that. The minister didn't go on that tangent by telling us that if you see a ship, say that it's a goat. So at least, let's show some modicum of appreciation, because the minister has told us the truth, and he's also making conscious effort to ensure the people of La, the challenge that we've gone through. In fact, we empathize with the people of La. We empathize with them, all the challenges they've gone through. When you are speaking, we listen to you. But when we are speaking, you listen to us. Very interesting. So we empathize with you. Honorable member, have the assurance that we will do everything and anything possible. Yes, it is possible. To prove that the people of La will not be left to walk alone. it is going to be done. You can see the Minister of Finance seated here. You think, do you know why he came here? Do you know why he came here? The concerns about General Hospital is part of the reason why the Minister of Finance is here. It's part of the reasons why he's here. So stay calm, don't worry. Something you were not able to do, we will be able to do it. And I tell you, next week by this time, the Member of Parliament will probably come under 72 and make a statement to both commend the government and to commend the minister. Minister, I urge you to be strong. We on this side, we urge you to be strong and soldier on and make sure you confront the problem headlong and deal with it. On that note, Speaker, we are concluding. We are concluding on the statement, and then we move ahead to take the next step. We have nothing to say. You are already in support of what I've said. Speaker, I thank you for the space granted.
Honorable Mohammed Muntaka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will start by thanking the Minister for coming to the House to brief us on the sad situation of LAC. Mr. Speaker, let me say that nothing is more disappointing. Nothing is more disappointing than some of the comments that is coming from our own source, especially my colleagues from the majority who want to trivialize such a very important issue of LAC. Mr. Speaker, if you read the Minister's statement clearly, you don't need to be told that these are some of the reasons that people have lost confidence in almost all of us as politicians. Because it looks as if though we are no longer planning, but we are just doing things intuitively. And Mr. Speaker, I'm sad because, Mr. Speaker, I had the great privilege of being a planning student at the master's level. And Mr. Speaker, the minister, being a chartered accountant and all that background that he is, will know that you will not dare step forward to commence a project when you are not certain and sure of the readiness of funds. And Mr. Speaker, this is not the only hospital facility in our country that have been renovated or reconstructed in our lifetime. Many of them have come and passed. And Mr. Speaker, if you read the statement of the minister clearly, you don't need to be told by an angel that there was no real intention to construct this hospital. And Mr. Speaker, the reason why I'm saying this is clear. The minister in his own statement has categorized, or has, he has given us the catalog chronology of events from 2017, all the letters that have been written, the concerns that have been raised. And Mr. Speaker, it is one major structure, the one that is a 3-story, that has an integrity issue. But there were many other facilities within that didn't have integrity issues. Let's assume, without admitting, that yes, we wanted to now build an ultra-modern facility that requires huge space. Mr. Speaker, the first thing, I'm sorry to say, that any reasonable person will have done will be first to get a makeshift structure that you can move almost all the facilities so that the hospital will be running. Even if they are going to scale down, they may only scale down by about 25 to 30%. So that before you can go in, you can rent a place. Mr. Speaker, that's why I'm saying that there's no any intention. Is this? If you look at the minister's statement on page 3, and item 12, he says that submission of proposal for value for money was done in May 2020. And Mr. Speaker, the item 19 says completion of value for money audit following the issuance of insurance cover by Sinosure was done in March 2022. 2 solid years. 2 solid years to do value for money. Mr. Speaker, it clearly shows that there was no commitment. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the same statement on page 3, and with your permission I quote, he says, following the submission of the advance payment request by the Minister of Finance to be paid by Stanchart, the lead arranger, it came to light that one of the facility, one of the creditors, as part of the syndicate, had gone under liquidation. Mr. Speaker, you are entering into an agreement with banks and other institutions
What checks did you do on those facilities, on those banks? What check did you do? How sure are you that they were capable of financing it? If it was a syndicate and one had gone into liquidation, what happened to the rest? That at least you could not advance to start the construction. Mr. Speaker, between the time of demolition of this structure, if you look at the time that the minister has given, the chronology, you can see clearly signing of final contract July, demolition of structure to make way for the new facility also in July, cutting the sod for ceremony 11th August. Mr. Speaker, commencement of preparatory work including geotechnical studies, soil tests and site setup for the office September 2020. Mr. Speaker, I don't need an ND to tell me. All these were done because election was pending. And all it meant was to deceive the people of La that something seriously was going to happen. But nothing more. Because, Mr. Speaker, after the 2020 September, you will see the only time they started doing anything about it was now in 2022. So you clearly be told that there was no any intention. Mr. Speaker, as my colleagues have earlier said, both the honourable member for Tamale South and then the ranking and then our own colleague, this statement, Mr. Speaker, I'm sorry to say, Minister, maybe you may have to come back again. Because this statement is not inspiring anything. It's not inspiring hope. It's not telling us anything. Because, Mr. Speaker, with the minister's own statement, on page 4, Mr. Speaker, paragraph 2, with your permission, I read. Through the effort of the 3-man committee, the Ministry of Finance has identified funds locally to continue the project within the same civil work scope, but a reduced price of 50 million euros. Mr. Speaker, even when they came to this house with a loan approved and told us that there's a specific syndication to deal with the project, it's taking 3 years. Now you are telling us that you found money locally. You are not telling us whether the money was found at Rollins Park, or it is found in Kenetia Market, or it is found in Ashama Market, or where. You want us to believe that sincerely you have to find money to be able to deal with this. Mr. Speaker, the same paragraph, the same page, paragraph 5, that the contractor indicates that once funds hit their account, they will remobilize to site within a week. Mr. Speaker, graciously, you've been Minister for Works and Housing. You've been Minister for Health. You know that when there's confidence and the contractor knows that a proper documentation has been done, he will not ask you that, give me money before I go to the site first. He will go to site, work and raise certificate for you to pay. Why is the contractor telling you that, let the money hit my account first before I go to site? It clearly shows that almost everyone around the project does not trust the government and what the government is saying. That's why the contractor will say, give me money before I can go to the site. And Mr. Speaker, the last thing that I want to say, Mr. Speaker, Minister for Health, at least let's take the people of our country serious. I will say that if you have genuine difficulties, like you've come to say the structure, these are difficulties, be sincere with the people. You've made a huge mistake by rushing because of election to demolish the structure. Now you are struggling to do firefighting. Don't raise hope when you are not sure, because everything that you said here clearly shows that even if next week you find a contractor on site, I can bet you in less than a month or 2 the contractor will leave the site, because this doesn't tell us that you clearly understand where you are going to get the money to finance the project. And Mr. Speaker, if you look at between 2020, when this structure was demolished, and now, so many promises have been made by this state government, and then the 111, all manner of projects are going at various stages. Mr. Speaker, sadly, including we have located money, shows that we are putting the money where we think our priority is. If this hospital is a priority, Mr. Speaker, I want to believe between 2020 and now, the government will have found it necessary to finance this. And Mr. Speaker, to redeem all of us, we included with the Minister of Finance, Minister of Health, do whatever it takes to get this project done. Because believe me, we are fast losing it. Mr. Speaker, I was at Confanoche on Friday when the King invited us. And when the King said, and I quote, MPs, you like sitting in Accra. Mr. Speaker, the applause that I saw from the crowd, I don't need an angel to tell me that people have lost confidence in us. And we need to begin to redeem ourselves by being truthful, by doing more hard work and sincere. When we say we are going to do something, let's carry it on. That's the only way we can rescue ourselves from the shame of our ordinary citizens, because they've lost confidence in us, they've lost trust in us. They don't believe that all the things that we are doing it on their welfare. Minister, fortunately the Minister of Finance is here. Work very hard and help all of us redeem the little integrity that is left of all of us. Other than that, I bet you our democracy will continue to be seen the danger that is seen in many other countries. We don't want it to get here. Let us inspire hope in our democracy, that democracy can work for the ordinary people. And it is only through these kind of projects and what we say and do that we can inspire our people. Let's do that. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for the opportunity to have also contributed to the statement, and I hope the people of La Hospital, La community and its environs will soon see a hospital that befits the community. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, Minister, your colleague is here for us to go and have a discussion. I thought that we would have ended it here for us to suspend. But unless you want to thank members, I can give you a minute. Majority Leader, you want to chip some of his time?
Well, Mr. Speaker, I just to say that it's important to allow the minister space to respond to some of the issues that have been raised. Because people have spoken to improper motives that the minister had in causing the demolition of the structure. That is really our orders. Mr. Speaker, it's proper that you accord the minister space to respond to these critical issues that have been raised. Because deliberately I elected not to respond to it because I know the minister has the competence to respond to those matters. So to say that you give him 1 minute, I believe that it will not be adequate. With respect, I call this space to respond to the issues that have been raised. I thank you.
Honorable Majority Leader, at my age, I know that sometimes silence is golden. But if you insist, why not? I'll give him the opportunity. Minister, you can take the time you want to respond. Once members are here, I'll preside throughout. But immediately you raise a controversial issue, I'll ask somebody else to respond. It depends. It depends on what he says. It depends on what he says. Majority Leader, you see you are responding. Already. Even though I've not even given you the opportunity. It's not for the public, it's for me and you. Yes, Minister, please, let the Minister give us. Let the Minister talk, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I thought I was going to brief the House on how far we've gone with trying to put back the hospital that was demolished. I first tried to justify the demolition. And my good friend, the ranking member of the health committee, says to me that I put in that this item has been in the news for good reasons. Why not? The good reasons are said that people in La, all of us Ghanaians, want to see that hospital back. That is the good reason. So this is logic. And your interpretation can be different the way people interpret our books of religion differently. So please, give me some credence and let people believe that I wouldn't come here and misbehave or lie to this house. Mr. Speaker, I just want to reiterate that La General Hospital is not the only hospital that has been pulled down and we are not working on it. We have pulled down Confanoche maternity block. Mr. Speaker, you know, it was there for nearly 44 years. When we got some funding to go and do the work, structural integrity test have been said that we should pull down, and we pulled that place down. As I speak, we have suspended work on Confanoche Teaching Hospital maternity block. Mr. Speaker, we started working on Kolebu maternity block. Parliament approved funding. We signed the agreement. Loan was, procured. But as I speak, we have suspended work in that place because of the experience with La. We just haven't been able to pull down the maternity block, and it's a very dangerous thing for us as I speak. So we are using an adjoining land in Kolebu, unlike La, because there we had a lot of space to do the work. Contractors were on site until the suspension of the project. Mr. Speaker, the cost implications. We came to Parliament, we were asked to do value for money. We have had some savings after value for money, and that is the reason why the same scope is coming down to do the work at 50 million. Apart from that, we are borrowing from a syndicated group. Now that we are not borrowing there again, the cost implications for financing has also come down. So we have some good negotiation with the contractor together with the committee that the president set up to try to get that to 50 million. But I don't want to use the word assurance anymore. I can tell my colleagues that we'll put up the same type of structure that was supposed to be put up with the amount that was initially done. Mr. Speaker, government means very, very, very well. It is true. There are several hospitals in this country that should be pulled down tomorrow morning. But as you do know, you have been in government before. When you don't have adequate funding, you can't do everything at a go. Solpo, Elvina, Oda, well again, Kolebu, even the surgical block, we need to pull down all these facilities and rebuild them. There are several of them, but we have to tread cautiously, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, one of my colleagues was saying that when you are not certain and sure of funding. Mr. Speaker, what more is certain and sure of funding? When you got cabinet approval, when you come to Parliament and got parliamentary approval, when you have signed a loan agreement and a commercial agreement to start a project, what certainty again will you want from a minister before he announces that we are going through the way? Mr. Speaker, my colleagues are forgetting the fact that between the period that we had that long delay of 2 years, there was COVID. And COVID affected China more than any country in this country. The finance minister is here. Mr. Speaker, for nearly 1.5 years, Sinosho was not working. So how consensus from them to sign and issue an insurance for the bankers to advance monies to the contractor? We can show you the first request for payment on advance mobilization to the bank. That never happened. Mr. Speaker, we were not doing due diligence on Swiss credits. Everybody on earth who knows Swiss credit was in good standing at the time that we signed the facility. So the liquidation issue came as a surprise to even the financial markets in the world. And we here couldn't have predicted that Credit Suisse was going to go down under. Mr. Speaker, when I was speaking, I said that we made stakeholder engagements and adequately had some engagement with the community that says. The arrangement was not to relocate them to a new structure anywhere. They were supposed to use aligning facilities, one at LECMA, and then the Greater Accra Regional Hospital that have been refurbished anew. So we knew that patients in the community will have somewhere to go and do their work. Other facilities, whether new or not, will have to be pulled down because we needed space to do the work. Even when they were moving the equipment to the site, we have to go and ask AMA to come to see how we can manage big trucks and heavy equipment to get to the site. And that is how come that was there. Then the new plan that was coming there, accommodation, even a creche for the workers' children and all that, couldn't have accommodated those old buildings or new that were there. So there was a need for us to clear the place to get things going. And I want to say, Mr. Speaker, that we never planned to deceive anybody. We never planned to deceive anybody. You saw the video, the need for us to pull down to avoid catastrophe going to happen to us. That is why we cut the sword with good intention. The contractor was ready to go there. Mr. Speaker, I can show you. I can show you pictures of materials that have been put on site when the contractors started working. Yes, there. If you go there tomorrow morning, you will see iron rods, mesh, looking well. That is all there. Have been procured. That we're supposed to use for this facility. Mr. Speaker, I think I will cut off and thank you very much for indulging me in the chamber to speak on the status of that. But I also want to say that skeptics, I don't want to continue that way. But I'm very, very sure that we will work to give LA what LA deserves. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, I think we agree that after this we'll suspend sitting and then have some discussions with the Minister for Finance and come to continue. In view of the fact that we've taken some more time, the 2:30 will not be appropriate for us to return. We're taking a lot of time now. So I propose for your consideration our resuming sitting at 3 o'clock. 3. I take it that the sense of the House is that we resume at 3. Yes, Majority Leader.
Speaker, yes, 3 o'clock should be good. I was just going to propose that during the suspension, if we could have the joint caucus meeting for the Minister responsible for energy and VRA to do the presentation. Because it was not going to be done in plenary. If we can fill in that space.
So you want a joint caucus meeting before the Minister?
No, he's here. The Minister,
or the Minister will be present?
The Minister is here.
Which Minister?
Energy.
Oh, you were not at the pre-sitting meeting. The pre-sitting meeting did not raise the issue of Minister of Energy. No, they did not. They did not. We didn't discuss VRA at the pre-sitting meeting. So let's take the suspension. Let's take the suspension. We can discuss that later. Honorable, you were agitating. Did I deny you of any right?
Mr. Speaker, no.
It's a privilege. Okay.
No, not that. But I was just trying to plead with you to say that if you listen to the statement by the health minister, he said that the finance minister has identified a source of funding for the project. Luckily for us, we have the finance minister here. I was going to plead with you to give him room to respond to the statement, to give us assurance, to confirm whether or not what the health minister said is true. This is just my plea to you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Well, I don't know which principle of law you are using now, because it's the Minister for Health who has stated that the Minister of Finance has identified funds. He is the one to produce the evidence. And so he has not also called the Minister for Finance to be a witness. You are now calling on him. And if he says that, well, I did not hear the minister say that, what will you say? Yeah, so I take it that this is on a lighter note, and we'll suspend and then come back. Because after those statements, you know it, that money will definitely have to come through the House for your approval. They can't just cough out money from somewhere and go to do construction without it coming through here for your consideration. So don't worry, it will come maybe in the budget, you will see it. Please, honorable members, the House is sitting is accordingly suspended till 3 in the forenoon.
Honourable members, our leaders, I need your guidance.
Mr. Speaker, we are taking questions on page 3. Yes. It's okay, it's okay. So the minister is here. He's been here since morning. Let him. He's been here.
You mean item 5, the urgent questions? Honourable Deputy Whip, are you referring to the urgent questions in item 5?
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Those were deferred from yesterday. So, Honourable Attorney General, you have taken your seat already. Item 5A, to be asked by the Honourable Member for Lower Menya Krobo, Mr. Ebenezer Okletete Labi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister, I rise to ask the Attorney General and the Minister for Justice the status of the prosecution of Men's Good Company, led by Nana Apia Mensah, aka Namwan. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. As you can indeed, there is especially low prosecution of Men's Good Company. There is rather the prosecution of the Chief Executive Officer of Men's Good Company Limited. And indeed, the accused person is Nana Apia Mensah. He was on 30th August 2023 charged with 39 counts of the offences of defrauding by false returns, fraudulent breach of trust, operating a deposit-taking business without a license, selling gold, inducement to invest in money laundering at the High Court, Accra Financial Division 1. The matter has since been called in court, and the plea of the accused person has been taken. He pleaded not guilty. Mr. Speaker, the prosecution has, in accordance with new rules of court for case management, been ordered to make all disclosures and file witness statements. The matter has been adjourned to 17 November 2023 to ensure that the prosecution has complied with the orders of the court and for a date for case management conference to be fixed. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, any follow-up questions, please?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, AG, for the answer. But There's some recent information in the news about Namwan depositing a certain amount of money somewhere. The information now is that is with the police. I just want to know if that's maybe you give some instruction or it is part of trying to get our money for us. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, indeed, information came to my attention that the said sum of money mentioned by the honourable member has been paid to the Ghana Police Service. Mr. Speaker, there is no formal plea bargaining process that has been entered into between the state and the accused person. The Speaker, we are therefore at a loss as to the import of the payment. We have since ordered for the amount to be deposited in the account at the Bank of Ghana. And then, if the accused person formally comes out of the plea bargaining process, the right thing will be done. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So it means that is a hoax. I mean, it's not something that you are privy to.
Mr. Speaker, the payment is not a hoax. The payment has been made to the Ghana Police Service. It was not made within the premises of any formal plea bargaining agreement between the state and the accused person. The accused person did not indicate that he was coming under a plea bargaining enactment that we have in the country. For that matter, we have deposited the money at the Bank of Ghana, and for the court to give further directions if indeed the court is notified by the accused person as to why the payment was made. The money is being kept at the Bank of Ghana. Thank you very much.
Very well.
Thank you.
Item 5B, to be asked by the... Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, some of us heard in the news that Namwan gave 5 million Ghana cedis to the police service to pay part of the debt. The police came by telling everybody that it was 2.5 million deposited with Bank of Ghana. If AG has information about this, if you can throw more light so that we'll know the real position, either it was 5 million or 2.5, so that some of us customers will know how to deal with the matter. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yes, the Speaker, the record I have before me indicates that an amount of 2.5 million Ghana cedis was paid. The Speaker, the claim of 5 million Ghana cedis as having been paid to the Ghana Police Service, with all respect, is untrue. It was only 2.5 million Ghana cedis that was paid by the accused person to the Ghana Police Service. Thank you very much.
Very well. So I'll proceed to item 5B, to be asked by the honourable member for Norton, Mr. Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa.
I'm grateful, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the Honourable Attorney General and Minister for Justice government's legal position on the plight of the people of Central Kofi, Akpafu, Likpe, and Lolobi, as they do not have representation in the current 8th Parliament. I'm grateful, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honourable.
The Speaker, thank you very much. As you can have a smile on my face because, indeed, this is the second time I'm answering this question. The Speaker, in March 2022, I answered a similar question on the same issue that was asked by Mr. Kofi E.D. Adams, the MP for Guam, on the same issue. But for the record, I'll provide the answer again. The Speaker, the first point I make respectfully in response to the issue is that the SAR matter is not a creation of government. Indeed, that issue, with all respect, is a result of a series of constitutional anomalies which the Electoral Commission sought to cure following the placement of the 4 areas within the Guan constituency in the Jasikan district in the Oti region. It would therefore, with all respect, be misplaced for one to describe the solution to the problem as residing in the bosom of the government of Ghana. It is really as a result of the decision of this Honourable House to also allow the Local Government Guan District Assembly Establishment Instrument 2020, LI 2416, which created the Guan District, to pass on Monday, 9th November 2020, less than a month before the December 2020 elections. The Speaker, I will shortly proceed to explain why I say the problem is actually not a government issue. The Speaker, until the enactment of the Representation of the People Parliamentary Constituencies Instrument 2020, CI 128, for electoral purposes, the traditional areas of Central Kofi, Akpafu, Likpe, and Lolobi, described as SAR for short, were part of the Hohoi constituency and also part of the Hohoi district. Administratively, these areas were in the Volta region. On 15 February 2019, by constitutional instrument CI 112, the boundaries of the Volta region were altered after due recourse and mandatory processes stipulated in Article 5 of the Constitution, resulting in the creation of the Oti region. The traditional areas of the SAR ceased to be part of the Volta region as they were included in the territories considered by law into the Oti region. The formation of the new Oti region had the further consequence that even though administratively Hohoi district remained in the Volta region, part of the Hohoi constituency, specifically the SAR areas, had become a part of the Oti region by dint of CI 112. In point of fact, the SAR areas were under the Jasikan district in the Oti region. A clear constitutional violation was imminent. Mr. Speaker, I refer to Article 47, Clause 2 of the Constitution, which stipulates that no constituency shall fall within more than one region. Mr. Speaker, this situation necessitated the enactment of a new constitutional instrument to alter the boundaries of the Hohoi constituency, as the continued placement of SAR within the Hohoi constituency, as indicated above, was going to be a flagrant violation of Article 47, Clause 2. The Supreme Court had actually, on 24 June 2020, in a suit entitled Valentine Jache against Harry Amatefe, the chairman, Hohoi Constituency NDC, the secretary, Hohoi Constituency NDC, Professor Margaret Kweku, the regional officer of the Electoral Commission, and the municipal electoral officer indeed underscored the necessity for the SAR areas to cease to be part of the Hohoi constituency in the Volta region, and for a new constituency to be created for them. The court stated, and I quote, "For the reasons explained above, we hold that as things stand now, CI 95, which was the old CI which placed the SAR areas within Hohoi constituency, is inconsistent with Article 47, Clause 2 of the Constitution, to the extent that the traditional areas of Santo Kofi, Akpafu, Likpe, and Lolobi, which fall within the Oti region, are stated to be part of the Hohoi constituency, which is in the Volta region, and to the extent of that constituency is unconstitutional." End of quote. In accordance with this clear decision of the Supreme Court, the Electoral Commission set out to align the boundaries of the Hohoi constituency and to place the SAR areas within the constituency in the Oti region. A new constituency instrument, CI 128, was enacted, and this CI placed the SAR areas within the Buem constituency, with its headquarters being Jasikan in the Oti region. Indeed, this situation, in my view, should not have created any problem at all, and should have ensured a due exercise by the people of SAR of their right to participate in the parliamentary election in the Buem constituency in the December 2020 elections. The Speaker, the problem of the SAR people began in November 2020, when Parliament allowed LI 2416 for the creation of a Guan district, which had been laid before Parliament on Tuesday, 6 October 2020, to come into effect. On Monday, 9 November 2020, less than a month before the December 2020 elections, LI 2416 came into force after having satisfied the constitutional prerequisite of Article 11, Clause 7 of the Constitution. It is pertinent to note that the areas carved into the Guan district by LI 2416 were hitherto part of the Jasikan district. Consequent to the enactment of LI 2416, the four traditional areas of SAR were placed under the new Guan district and ceased to be part of the Jasikan district. This development necessarily required the Electoral Commission to create a new constituency for the SAR areas called the Guan constituency, as the Commission took the view that to allow them to remain within the Buem constituency would unleash another constitutional anomaly of having the member of parliament for Buem also being a member of the Guan district, in addition to being a member of the Jasikan District Assembly at the same time. Indeed, for the record, I'll quote Article 242, paragraph B of the Constitution, which states that a district assembly shall consist of the member of parliament or a member or members of parliament for the constituencies that fall within the area of authority of the district as members without the right to vote. A constituency, in the view of the Electoral Commission, should therefore fall within the area of authority of a district assembly. The Electoral Commission interpreted this to mean that a member of parliament is required to be a member of one district assembly and no more. The Speaker, indeed, there have been efforts to address the SAL anomaly. The Electoral Commission, in its quest to ensure a due exercise of the franchise by the people of SAL, proceeded to take steps to create a constituency for the areas forming part of the newly created Guan district by amending CI 128, as well as the district electoral areas and designation of units regulations 2019 CI 119. Subsequently, the Attorney General Minister of Justice, by a letter dated 18th November 2020, forwarded the draft representation of the People Parliamentary Constituencies Amendment Instrument 2020 and comments thereon to the Electoral Commission for their consideration. The then Attorney General particularly drew the attention of the Electoral Commission to the limited time available for the dissolution of the 7th Parliament, having regard to Article 11, Clause 7 of the Constitution, which requires 21 sitting days of Parliament for a draft instrument to come into force. On 26 November 2020, the Electoral Commission requested the Attorney General to finalize the draft constitutional instrument. And indeed, as the Office of the Attorney General had earlier on cautioned, in its letter of 18 November 2020, processes leading to the creation of the Guan district, or the Guan constituency, could not materialize since Parliament went on recess for the December 2020 elections on 9th November 2020, the same day that the LI creating the Guan district, LI 2016, came into effect, implying that the constitutional instrument for the creation of a Guan constituency could not be laid before Parliament. The record shows that Parliament resumed only on Monday, 14 December 2020, a week after the election. In order to prevent what is considered the occurrence of a constitutional crisis, the residents of the Guan district, i.e. the SAL areas, voted for a member of parliament in the Guan constituency, which is part of the Jasikan district. On the eve of the 7th December elections, the Electoral Commission directed the residents of the Guan district to only vote in the presidential and not the parliamentary election. In my view, the decision of the Electoral Commission to prevent the SAL people from voting in the Guan constituency for a member of parliament was not constitutionally sound, and with the greatest respect, raised genuine questions about the legitimacy of the Guan parliamentary contest. The SAL people should have voted as part of the Guan constituency for a member of parliament. When Parliament resumed sitting on 14 December 2020, the Electoral Commission could not lay the amendment to CI 128 for want of the mandatory 21 sitting days for same to come into force before the dissolution of the 7th Parliament on the midnight of Wednesday, 6 January 2021. The Commission therefore was compelled to wait for the 8th Parliament to be sworn in on 7 January 2021 before the constitutional instrument to amend CI 128 be laid before Parliament. The Speaker, I will quickly highlight some measures that have been taken to solve the SAL problem since 2021. In 2021, the Electoral Commission, with the guidance of the Attorney General, started the process for the creation of a new constituency for the Guan district. The Commission held a consultative meeting with stakeholders in the new Guan district for proposed name. The stakeholders unanimously agreed on the constituency name, Guan constituency, with the headquarters being Likpe Mate. I am happy to inform the House that with my active support, the Electoral Commission has taken fruitful steps to ensure representation for the SAL people in Parliament. Further to a pre-laying meeting held on 7 June 2023 to consider the representation of the People Parliamentary Constituency Instrument 2023 and the district electoral areas Reservation of Units Amendments Instrument 2023, signed and dated copies of the instruments were submitted by the Attorney General to the Clerk of Parliament for laying. By correspondence dated 22nd November 2023, Parliament has indicated that the instruments have been laid in Parliament since 31st October 2023. The district electoral areas designation of units amendment instrument 2023 seeks to realign the Jasikan and Guan districts, placing the electoral areas in the South traditional areas within the Guan district. The Speaker, the way forward. Presently, with the representation of the People's Parliamentary Constituencies Amendment Instrument 2023 and the district electoral areas designation of units amendment instrument 2023 come into force, the creation of a new Guan constituency consisting of the South areas shall only come into effect upon the next resolution of Parliament on 6 January 2025. This is the effect of Article 47, Clause 6 of the Constitution. Alternatively, a representation of the people of South in Parliament in this term of Parliament is desired. The way to go is to do the two things which are prescribed to the honourable member. The Speaker, respectfully, there must be a revocation of LI 2416 establishing the Guan district, which would imply that the residents of South will remain under the Jasikan district. And two, there must be an annulment of the 2020 parliamentary election organized for the Guam constituency to allow residents of the 4 South communities qualified to vote to exercise their right to elect a member of parliament to represent them. Since CI 128, used for the conduct of the 2020 parliamentary elections, had indeed already placed the South areas within the Guam constituency. A recognition of the current status of the South areas as part of the Guam constituency within the Jasikan district and an annulment of the Guam parliamentary election in order to allow the residents of South to vote for a member of parliament will cure the mischief for lack of representation of the South people in parliament in this term of parliament until the new CI seeking to create a new Guam constituency comes into force. The Speaker, in respect of what I prescribe, it is important to know that there is currently pending in court, the High Court, Hohoi, a suit challenging the validity of the election of Mr. Kofi Adams as Member of Parliament for the Guam constituency on account of a denial of the right of the people of South to vote in the election which elected Mr. Kofi Adams as the MP for Guam. This suit number is suit number CRP/E/1/2021 and is entitled "In the matter of parliamentary election for the Guam constituency in the matter of a petition by Stephen Bempong and 12 others against Mr. Kofi Adams and the Electoral Commission." The Speaker, the reliefs being sought in the action include an order of the court cancelling the parliamentary election in the Guam constituency and further orders directed at the Electoral Commission to organize fresh elections in the Guam constituency, inclusive of the 30 electoral areas in the traditional areas described as South. The Speaker, this is the answer. Very grateful.
Yes. Any follow-up questions?
I'm grateful, Mr. Speaker. I have a few follow-up questions. The first one, Mr. Speaker, and let me thank the Honorable Attorney General for his response. In the Honorable Attorney General's response, he appears to absolve government that this is not the South question. It's not a creation of government. But then proceeds to say that we cannot discount the role that the creation of the new OT region plays in this whole matter. Because you can't have a district that straddles two regions constitutionally. So, would the Attorney General concede that the creation of the OT region by government played a role, and that the posture to abdicate is not one that should be encouraged? We need to boldly accept our roles and responsibilities in this matter so we can really deal with it and learn lessons moving forward as a country.
Yes,
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, indeed the creation of the OT region never contributed to the problem of the SAR people. The point I made is that the SAR areas, pursuant to CI 128, which was enacted following the creation of the OT region, were placed within the Boem constituency. So the SAR areas have the constituency, which is the Boem constituency. And indeed, that should not have created any problem whatsoever. And they should have been allowed to vote as part of the Boem constituency. Mr. Speaker, the further point I made was not that a district cannot straddle 2 regions. I said no constituency shall fall within 2 regions, pursuant to Article 11 Clause 2 of the Constitution. And that is what CI 128 had rightly cured by placing the areas described as SAR under Boem constituency and removing them from under the Hohoi constituency. So there was no problem at all. The Speaker, the real problem is what I indicated, was for this Honourable House to allow LI 2416, which subsequently carved out the SAR areas and placed them under Guan district to come into force at a period which was too close to the election. The Speaker, because indeed that is what then created a federal constitutional anomaly of having a potential member of parliament for the Boem constituency being a member of both the Jasikan District Assembly as well as the Guan District Assembly, which in the view of the Electoral Commission was not warranted by Article 242 paragraph B of the Constitution. The Speaker, so indeed the creation of the OT region never had any issue at all to do with the problems of the SAR people. And indeed the Supreme Court had, in the case that I indicated, prescribed the solution as that a new constituency ought to be created for the SAR people within the OT region. And that's what CI 128 subsequently did. So indeed, it is, as I said, perhaps a problem created by this Honourable House. This Honourable House, in accordance with Article 11, Clause 7 of the Constitution, has the power to prevent any legislative instrument that's laid before the House from coming into force. The House can exercise its power to prevent such an instrument from indeed coming to force by the vote of not less than 2/3 of all the members of the House. That the blame, with all respect, should be between the Electoral Commission and this Honourable House. I'm very grateful, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Well, Mr. Speaker, the Honourable Attorney General wants to shift the blame entirely to this House and the Electoral Commission. The Honourable Attorney General informs us that for the November 2020 CI, if I heard him right, CI 128, the Electoral Commission sought the opinion of the Attorney General, and you advised on the 18th of November that Parliament will be rising soon thereafter, and that the 21-day requirement would not be met, and you advised the EC against proceeding. Can the Attorney General confirm if a similar arrangement was in place for the earlier actions by the Electoral Commission? Was your office consulted? Did they seek your advice, as they did in November 2020 for the earlier the earlier CI that they presented to Parliament?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Indeed, all constitutional instruments are drafted by the Office of the Attorney General, but indeed they remain the product of the institution introducing the constitutional instruments. The Electoral Commission, in accordance with the Constitution, is wholly independent. The advice of the Attorney General is not binding on the Electoral Commission. Indeed, as the Constitution prescribes, it is subject to the Constitution and, of course, directives or directions of this, or orders of the Supreme Court of Ghana. Beyond that, the Office of the Attorney General can only advise. The then Attorney General rightly advised on 18 November 2020, cautioned the Electoral Commission against forwarding that constitutional instrument to Parliament. Because if indeed they did, there was going to create complex constitutional issues. since the CI could not come into force before December 7th elections. Mr. Speaker, yes, the Attorney General always advises the Electoral Commission, just as with all respect I've done since 2021, and now the SAR problem is being resolved. I'm very grateful.
Yes.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm glad that the Attorney General has confirmed that they were involved and being consulted on this matter. But the final supplementary question relates to the pending case that the Attorney General spoke of. Considering the current steps which you outlined as new measures that have been taken on the way forward, will you say that perhaps the more appropriate thing for the Electoral Commission and for this House to do is to wait for this particular case, and if there are any other cases that are before the courts, to be fully resolved before we proceed, unless you probably want to assure this House that those cases will not have any bearing on the current processes, the new CI and all of that, because if there are pending cases and we are also taking steps to resolve this so that our brothers and sisters in South can vote for the 9th Parliament in the 2024 elections, how sure are we that we won't hit a roadblock as we count down the 21 days? I'm grateful, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, indeed, I can assure the House that the pending case has nothing to do with the processes of the Electoral Commission, for a simple reason, that any constituency that is created pursuant to a constitutional instrument coming into force will have effect only upon the next dissolution of Parliament. Indeed, the case pending in court has the object of ensuring representation of SAR within this term of Parliament, the 8th Parliament of Ghana. So if indeed the case is adjudicated in favor of the plaintiffs, it will only have the effect of annulling the election of Mr. Kofi Adam, and then for the SAR election to be conducted again, SAR parliamentary election to be conducted, the Guan constituency election to be conducted again for the SAR people to participate in it. And that is all. But a CI which comes into force will have the effect of amending the number of constituencies, and it will take effect upon the next dissolution of Parliament, which will be 6 January 2025. So indeed, the CI can safely come into force, and the Guan constituency can be created. And I'm sure if I were eligible, I'll even contest, and I'm sure I'll win because I've assisted them.
Very well, honourable members. That brings us to the end of question time for today. We thank the Honourable Minister for attending upon the House to answer questions. You are discharged. Yes, what next?
At the commencement of public business, we take item 25, motion on page 13.
Very well, honourable members. Item 25. Motion by the chairman of the committee. Chairman of the Committee on Employment, Social Welfare and State Enterprises.
Speaker, let me seek your leave for the item to be taken by the Vice Chair of the committee instead.
Yes, minority front bench. Very well, Vice Chair, you may proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the motion item 25 of today's other paper, page 13. I move that this Honorable House adopts the report of the Committee on Employment, Social Welfare and State Enterprises on the annual financial performance of the National Lottery Authority for the years 2019 and 2020. I pray that the Hansard Department captures the entirety of the report as if same has been read. Mr. Speaker, in so moving, I refer to page 6 of the report. The committee noted that the National Lottery Authority had digitized its operations. The authority informed the committee that it has shifted from offline games through the kiosks and the manual system to digitized platforms. The committee was informed that the NLA had built a strong partnership with its digital partners. Their collaboration with KGL Technologies has driven this agenda and helped the authority increase its revenue online. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, the National Lotto Act 2072. In conclusion, the committee, after a thorough scrutiny of the financial statement of the NLA for the years 2019 and 2020, recommends the House to adopt this report. I submit accordingly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, any seconder, please. Yes, Honourable Governor Donko.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to associate myself with the report of the Committee of Employment, Social Welfare and State-Owned Enterprises. And in so doing, Mr. Speaker, I will want to draw the attention of the House to a major defect or deficiency of the National Lotteries Authority. Mr. Speaker, we are in Q4 of 2023, and Mr. Speaker, as we speak, we do not have the audited financials of the National Lottery Authority for 2021 and 2024. And this goes against every tenet in the book. The Public Financial Management Act, its own enabling act, expects that by the end of Q2 of each year, the previous year's audited financials should be available. And it is so important that as at Q4 of 2023, we do not have the audited accounts of 2021 or 2022. Mr. Speaker, it is for this reason that the committee is only presenting 2019 and 2020, which effectively makes this irrelevant, in that if there was any fault that this House will have to look at, it's already 3 years late. But Mr. Speaker, having said that, the National Lotteries Authority was established to add to government revenue, to make money and add to government revenue. In paragraph 22, Mr. Speaker, for the year under consideration, the years under consideration, the National Lottery Authority made losses. And it is important that this is recognized. that there is the need for efficiency in the running of the national lotteries. Mr. Speaker, it is high time this House takes far more seriously than we have done the financial management of state-owned enterprises and authorities established by this House. On this basis, Mr. Speaker, I associate myself with the report. Thank you for the opportunity.
Honourable members, yes, been moved and seconded for consideration of the House. Yes, Honourable member for Afram Plains, Central Afram Plains, yes. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When you look at observation, page 3, item 12, we recognize that there was unclaimed prices which was added to the total revenue. And that the question is, how do they distribute the unclaimed price and the revenue? And therefore, they need to either they will keep it or transfer it to consolidated fund, or find the responsible people and then pay them. Mr. Speaker, I will move you to page 6, item 23, contract service for broadcasting of results. We observe that the authority have abrogated the service contract of broadcasting lottery in the system. They had a contract with the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, and it was taken over from them to GTV, a private sector. One thing I have to know that, look at the state of economy. The state institutions need to support each other so that they can improve on their revenue mobilization. But if the state institution taking the contract service of the state institution to a private, it's a very serious thing that we need to look at it, so that our state institution can grow a little bit. The Speaker, we also noted that in the committee meeting that there was no provision made for contingency liability, but we recognize that there was a lawsuit pending on court. So if the authority loses all the impending law court, meaning that there will be a problem. And therefore, there's no point of not making provisions on the financial statement, so that in case there's a problem, then they can use it to settle their liabilities. So with these few words, Mr. Speaker, I support the motion.
At the conclusion of the debate, the question is, all in favor of the House adopting the report, say aye. All against, say no. The ayes have it, notwithstanding the loud no. This House has adopted the report of the Committee on Employment, Social Welfare and State Enterprises on the annual financial performance of the National Lottery Authority 2019 to 2020. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, we are taking item 8 on page 5.
Yes, item 8. I hope you recognize that Article 75 regulates this this resolution. Yes, item 8.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that this Honourable House adopt the report of the Committee on Roads and Transport on the Cape Town Agreement 2012 of the International Maritime Organization,
Mr. Speaker, in so doing, I would like to present your committee's report. Mr. Speaker, this referral was made to the committee on the 24th of May 2022 for the committee to consider it and report to the House. Mr. Speaker, your committee met with the officials from the Ministry of Transport to deliberate on the convention or the referrals, and Mr. Speaker, after listening to the ministry, we have the report to present to the House for a decision to be taken. Mr. Speaker, I want to give a background of Mr. Speaker, on item 3.0 talks about the fishing industry in Ghana as considered as important sector of the economy, given its contribution of about 11% to agricultural gross domestic product. It also accounts for 60% of the nation's annual protein requirement. Mr. Speaker, fishing has, however, been consistently ranked one of the deadliest occupations in the country. Workers in the occupation face unique, life-threatening hazards, including vessel casualties, falling overboard, and diving incidents. In the year 1999, the International Labour Organization estimated that there were 24,000 fatalities in the fishing industry per year, which was 10 times more than the number of fatalities on merchant ships. Mr. Speaker, paragraph 4.0 gives the justification for this ratification. Mr. Speaker, Ghana, being a coastal country, has several fishers operating within its marine and inland waters. The nature of the profession, coupled with poor condition of vessels, put fishers at risk and lead to the loss of lives. The challenges faced by
Chairman, hold
fishers.
Yes, honorable member for South Day. What is the problem?
Mr. Speaker, it's the practice of this House that when reports and the chairman is aware that we don't have adequate copies. We want to follow you and contribute meaningfully. So endeavor so that we have a copy, including the speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I think the report is here. Members have it, and I want to. Yes. So I will just go straight to the recommendations by the committee.
The issue he has raised is critical. If members do not have copies, how do they contribute? But I'm observing that the report was signed in July.
Yes,
which means that it may have been distributed earlier. I don't have a copy yet. I've just been giving a copy. You know. Was it distributed to members today or earlier? It has been distributed to members today? Chairman, are you saying it will be distributed to members today?
We gave copies this morning. Ask the chief whip. He has a copy. Honorable those who were in the chamber in the morning had copies of this report.
The chief whip has it.
It's okay.
I have just been giving a copy. I'm ready. I wasn't here in the morning, so if what he's saying is true, it could be that. But every member is entitled to have a copy. So, well, in any case, I'll allow the debate, but I don't think that we are entitled to or we have the numbers to take a decision on the resolution. But I will encourage members to discuss it, and if by the time we conclude we have sufficient numbers to take a decision, then I'll put the question. If not, we'll defer the decision. So you conclude with your presentation.
Paragraph 9.0 gives the observation and recommendation of the committee. The committee observed that the agreement, when ratified, will guarantee a safe and secure maritime environment and reduce the payment of huge insurance premiums on vessels trading activities. It will also reduce the high cost of imported goods and services. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, the relevance of the fishing industry cannot be overemphasized, given its role in sustaining livelihoods and reducing poverty in numerous households across the country. It is imperative, therefore, that this fishing industry in Ghana undergoes reforms to ensure that activities are streamlined and regulated. This requires the provision of the necessary legal framework to reform the fisheries sector. The committee therefore recommends that the House ratify by resolution the Cape Town Agreement 2012 of the IMO in accordance with Article 75(2)(b) of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana and Order 156 and 189 of the Standing Orders of Parliament. As so present, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, who is seconding? Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion, and seconding it, I support that we agree with this or to this report. The chairman has adequately read the details of the committee's report, and I do second it because the fishing industry require this ratification. Indeed, the ratification requires that we in Ghana here, the fishing industry, meet the standards of the international policies and so on. So I second this motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The motion has been moved and seconded for the consideration of the House. It's for the consideration of the House. Chairman, I want to ask a question. Does this agreement apply to your fishing canoes in the country?
This is strictly to the commercial vehicles with certain commercial vessels. So the canoes are not part of it. It's just the commercial vessels, fishing vessels. They have a limit that I think the size is about 24 inches wide. Yes.
Very well. Yes, Honorable Member for is it Bodi or the other one? Via East.
Yeah, you are former friend. Mr. Speaker, I'm not a member of the committee, and then the ranking member of the committee has spoken to the report. You are about to put the question. Many of us are interested to know the content of the report. Copies were not given to us. So I'm pleading with you, Mr. Speaker, if you can hold on to the question so that tomorrow we will take the opportunity to get copies of the report, grounds through, so that if we have any reservations, we will also raise it before the question is put. Because if care is not taken, Mr. Speaker, anytime any issue comes up from the House, they say, oh, Parliament gave approval. Were you not in the House? They will trace to the attendance register, and your name is there. You sign for participating in that process. Meanwhile, I didn't know the content of the document. Mr. Speaker, the embarrassment is getting too much. So, respectfully, Mr. Speaker, hold on to the question. Let other members who are interested to get copies of the report glance through, then tomorrow we'll put the question. I think this is not anything so much to ask from you. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Yeah.
Honorable Member for Asante Achim Central.
Mr. Speaker, as usual, this report might have been buried in the many reports that we received. I remember that I had read through this report a long time ago. And this morning, the chairman made the attempt to redistribute the papers. I am aware that the Cape Town Agreement is long overdue, and this House should have taken a decision on it long ago. Now, this is a ratification of the agreement that Ghana had acceded to. And we do not debate, and we cannot change the content that is being given to us. Having seen the advantages, because this applies to the larger vessels, it regulates the larger vessels, the larger fishing vessels that would be used, some of them might be used in our marine waters. And therefore, it is very necessary. It doesn't have any disadvantage for us. I am not saying that the decision must be taken today, but to say that we have not had the time to peruse through it, I disagree. And just that we have been overtaken by the many papers that we received. And this is a very important convention that I thought that the decision had been taken on it long time ago. I'm surprised that we are yet to take a decision. So I invite the House that this is a good convention that we have to ratify so that we could benefit from it. Thank you very much.
There's a part of the report which I find interesting. Item paragraph 9(4). Enhancing fisherfolk proficiency in English language. Enhancing fisherfolk proficiency in English language. And the committee noted that fishing crews on the high seas comprise migrant workers who cannot communicate effectively with other operators. This communication gap puts them at risk of being exploited by the operators. The committee commended the Ghana Maritime Authority for partnering with some training institutions to successfully train fisherfolk to attain some level of proficiency in English language. In view of the committee, the training would facilitate easy communication. So my interest is, what is the plan that you intend that the fisherfolk do some training in English language? If I want to join a fishing vessel in Tema, but I can't speak English, then what do you do for me so I can speak English before I join? Yes, Chief Whip, you are a ranking member of that committee, aren't you?
Mr. Speaker, you are very right. Maybe when we say fisher folks in this context, we are talking about those on the fishing vessel doing the fishing. Mr. Speaker, let me give you an example. Currently, there's no control over who comes into our waters to do fishing. So you have a situation where a Chinese person comes and probably doing even illegal fishing. We try to communicate with them using radio and other things, and the person pretends he cannot speak English. Mr. Speaker, imagine if a pilot were to be flying to Accra and air traffic control is trying to tell him, come to this level or go this way, and the person can't even understand English. You can imagine what it means. It's exactly the same thing we are trying to do on the sea. So it is not about the guys at Odo who are on their canoe trying to catch few fishes. It's about those in charge of commercial vehicle and vessels on the sea. So it is important that when this is passed, and this is an international convention, when you are into certain territories,
you should be able to communicate in the language that you will be in that jurisdiction. So that is the context in which the English language thing is being said, but not to say that everybody who is fishing along our coast should be able to speak English.
That's right.
It is specifically for those in charge of the vessels.
All right. So what does our existing law say about managing or manning a vessel in our waters, in our territorial waters currently? If you're bringing a vessel into Ghana's territorial waters, are you not required by law to be able to communicate with the port control currently? Yes, Honorable Minister.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, your question is very relevant. It is precisely so that we are trying to ratify. This Parliament House must ratify this convention so that part of our laws will be domesticated. And once we enter our waters, like the minority chief you said, that we don't have a specific law as of today. Anybody that enters our waters, that we should speak, you should understand the language that we speak. By ratifying this convention, we are now going to domesticate our language into it and say that once you enter our waters and you want to trade or you want to fish in it, the official language that you speak is English, and you must understand it. Once that ratification is done, it's compulsory for them. As of now, there's no restriction, there's no rules that say that the person who enters our waters must speak English language. So you say that I don't understand. Once that I don't understand what you are saying, you cannot force it. But once you ratify it and say that this is our official language, you must understand that you must get an interpreter to interpret whatever communication that you do. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Yes, Sunday.
Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to comment on the reports presented by the chairman. Mr. Speaker, let me indicate that I'm very happy that as part of the observation and recommendations of the committee in this matter, they have indicated that there will be a reduction in the level of pollution in the sea, and especially because, Mr. Speaker, pollution as a result of materials that enter the sea from rivers that flow into the sea is become a menace, and the media houses have done a lot of documentaries showing that our fishermen, when they go to fishing these days, in addition to catching some fish, they have all sorts of materials, including plastic waste, and these are hauled from the sea, and it becomes such a problem for them, and you see that they are crying for help. So if ratification of this protocol will help to reduce the pollution of the sea to enable them fish in clean waters, it's something we have to consider as a house and do as and ratify as a matter of urgency. The benefits, Mr. Speaker, if you read the report, the benefits that are derivable from doing this, it's so enormous for our fishermen, such that we have to take so much interest in it and do it. They have also indicated that it will reduce the insurance premium that they pay, which is also very good. It will also lead to initiation of SATs among the fishermen when they go to the high seas. And again, the ratification will also be in compliance with the Fees and Charges Act, which we recently passed. So I think it's such a good step that we are taking as a house to do this. And I know that my sister Rita Odole will be interested in adding her voice, because her people are mainly fisher folks who are who benefit a lot under this program. Mr. Speaker, with these words, I will urge the House that we don't delay this decision with the ratify. Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity.
I want to listen to Honorable Bapa, who I know went to the
Mr. Speaker, thank you so much for the opportunity. The Maritime Labour Convention, Manila 2010, English language has been accepted as the medium of communication on board ships. I'm a seafarer. So when the topic comes that language is not used or English language is not accepted, I urge the government of Ghana or those who see to that to make sure that the MSC 2010 is into force. Besides what I want to say about what happened to the seafarers on the fishing boats, when you see the condition of their lives, it's as if they are in prison. The foreigners who operate or own the ships are rather those who do not understand English language. Ghanaians, we even use the broken language to communicate. I remember Maritime University, I was sent on board one of the fishing boats for my attachment. We were overhauling electric motor as an electrical engineer student. This Korean man called me that I should go and bring ropu. Bring ropu. And I was like, what is ropu? I wasn't used to that, the terms of communication. So somebody told me he's talking about rope. So I went to bring him a rope. Just about to turn my back, he used the rope to whip me. Seriously. And I couldn't take it. I pulled him. He was just a smallish person. I pulled him. And I gave it to him very well. Then I stepped out from the ship. What he was referring to was rather a wire sling that he wanted me to bring so that we'll be able to lift the motor. So in this case, because he could not communicate well with me, he said ropu. I went to bring rope to him. So the foreigners on board, they are rather not good in speaking English.
That's exactly what the minister is saying.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to communicate with them, it becomes a problem.
Yeah, the other part I would like just to look into is their salaries.
You are finished with the language. Finish with the language. Confirm that you will
is their earnings on board. The IMO has a standard of wages that they have to pay or salary to seafarers based on their rankings. But what you see in the fishing harbor on board the fishing vessels, they cut down their salaries. This is not only the fishing side. Even at our offshore, you may bring who they call expatriates, and when they pay them, is far below the same Ghanaian who holds the same qualifications. So I would like the minister to look into this, or they should look into it and make sure that the seafarers on board these fishing vessels are paid per the standard, as long as they have the same certificate of competency that matches with those expatriates that they bring from outside. In fact, we who were trained by the Ghanaian Black Star, those Black Star line, we had gone to Asia to induce our knowledge into these people. Today, they bring Filipinos and call them expatriates, and then they earn higher salaries than the Ghanaian seafarers. So, with this convention, I will be glad if we look into the condition of the seafarers in Ghana, as well not only the fishing side, but those at the offshore, as well as the foreign going ships. Thank you very much.
You have already spoken, Honorable Anyimadu. What is the matter again?
I wanted to give an information to the honorable colleague, but because he finished. Mr. Speaker, I wanted to draw his attention to, if you look at the order paper, item number 10 is talking about a resolution that will be taken tomorrow on ILO number 188. That is also a convention, and that has to do with the seafarers. So that will be taken tomorrow when the report is ready. But this one has to do, the Cape Town agreement has to do with the vessels and not the seafarers. That's the information I wanted to offer.
Yes, leadership.
Mr. Speaker, I wanted to seek some clarity from the minister as to whether we intend to domesticate this after the convention has been passed by Parliament. Mr. Speaker, this is particularly important because there are very serious issues that have been raised here. And I don't know whether we have already domesticated some of these items through domestic laws or intend to bring LI later to regulate this convention, the implementation of this convention. And so it's important for him to clarify for us. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, it is precisely so that we should ratify this now. We need to domesticate it. And once we do that, we compare to existing law that we have. If there's any loophole, we must bring an LI or an act itself to bridge the gap. So that is precisely so that.
Very well, honorable members. My position still holds. I'm being urged on to do something. Very well. Honorable members, at the conclusion of the debate, the question is, all in favor of the House adopting the motion, say aye. All against, say no. The ayes have it. The motion is carried. Now, item 9, resolution.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that resolution numbered as item number 9 to do other paper, page 5, be adopted by this honorable. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, we seconding the resolution.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second.
Honourable members, the resolution numbered 9 on page 5 of today's order paper has been moved and seconded. All in favor of the House adopting the resolution, say aye. All against, say no. The ayes have it. The resolution numbered 9 on page 5 of today's order paper is hereby adopted by the House. Yes, Honorable Deputy.
Mr. Speaker, presentation of papers. Item number 7B. I seek your leave for the chairman is unavoidably absent and his vice is here for the vice to lay the papers. Thank you.
Which report are you looking at? Which one are you seeking to? 7-1?
7B. 7B on page 4. B.
Yes, I've seen it. And you want who to lay the report on behalf of the committee? Is the report ready?
7B, B for boy on page 4.
All right, the deputy chair, vice chair is here. Very well. Item 7B, vice chairman. Go ahead, lay it.
Report of the Committee on Defense and Interior on the military operation at Adjournment.
The report is duly laid. It's for distribution to members. Yes, what next?
Mr. Speaker, we've had a long day. We are in your hands. Thank you.
Very well, honorable members. The House is accordingly adjourned to tomorrow, Wednesday, November 15, 2023 at 10 o'clock in the forenoon.